Booker T. Washington, a man up from slavery. One Life and Family. Booker T. Washington was one of the most influential African American leaders of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Born into slavery on April 5, 1856, in Hales Ford, Virginia, Washington's early life was marked by hardship and deprivation. He was the son of an enslaved woman named Jane and an unknown white man. Following the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, he and his family gained their freedom, but the struggle for education and economic stability was only beginning. From a young age, Washington demonstrated an intense desire for learning. He worked tirelessly in salt furnaces and coal mines while pursuing his education. His determination led him to the Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute, now Hampton University, where General Samuel C. Armstrong, a staunch advocate for black education, mentored him. Washington later attended Wayland Seminary in Washington, D.C., but it was his time at Hampton that shaped his philosophy of self-help, vocational training, and racial uplift. In 1881, at the age of 25, Washington was appointed the first leader of the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute, now Tuskegee University, in Alabama. Under his leadership, Tuskegee became a model institution that emphasized practical skills and self-sufficiency for African Americans, aligning with his belief in economic empowerment as the pathway to racial progress. Washington was married 3 times. His first wife, Fanny Smith, passed away in 1884, leaving behind their daughter, Portia. His second wife, Olivia Davidson, was an educator who played a crucial role in building Tuskegee, but died in 1889. His third wife, Margaret Murray, was a dedicated partner in his work and continued his legacy after his death. Washington passed away on November 14, 1915, but his influence on African American education and race relations remains profound. 2 main works. Booker T. Washington was a prolific writer and speaker who advocated for the advancement of African Americans through education and economic self-reliance. His most famous work, Up from Slavery, an autobiography, 1901, is a powerful narrative of his journey from slavery to prominence as an educator and leader. The book provides insight into the struggles of African Americans during Reconstruction and Washington's philosophy of racial uplift through vocational training and industry. Another significant work, The Future of the American Negro, 1899, outlines Washington's thoughts on the education and progress of Black Americans. He argues for industrial education over classical studies, emphasizing practical skills as a means of achieving self-sufficiency and respect in society. Washington also published Character Building, 1902, a collection of lectures aimed at instilling discipline, morality, and perseverance among African American youth. In My Larger Education, 1911, he expands upon his ideas and experiences, reflecting on his interactions with influential figures such as President Theodore Roosevelt and industrialist Andrew Carnegie. Through these works, Washington sought to shape public opinion on race relations, education, and economic empowerment, making a lasting impact on both Black and white audiences in America. 3 Controversies. Despite his achievements, Washington was a highly controversial figure, particularly among African American intellectuals and activists. His philosophy, often summarized by his 1895 Atlanta Compromise speech, advocated for Black people to focus on economic self-improvement rather than immediate civil rights. He argued that vocational training and financial independence would eventually lead to social and political equality. This stance was criticized by figures such as W.E.B. Du Bois, who accused Washington of being too accommodating to white supremacists. Du Bois and other members of the Niagara Movement, which later became the NAACP, argued for direct political action and higher education for African Americans rather than Washington's emphasis on industrial training. Some African Americans felt that Washington's emphasis on vocational training limited opportunities for Black people, reinforcing racial segregation by steering them into labor rather than professional careers. Critics believed his approach was too conservative and did not challenge systemic racism forcefully enough. However, Washington's secretive political maneuvering has also been controversial. While he publicly preached patience and cooperation with white leaders, he worked behind the scenes to support civil rights cases, fund Black newspapers, and oppose discriminatory laws. His covert activism revealed a complex strategy of balancing public accommodation with private resistance. Despite these criticisms, Washington's impact on African American education and leadership remains significant. His pragmatic approach helped establish institutions that provided real opportunities for Black Americans, and his diplomatic efforts paved the way for future civil rights advancements. For conclusion, Booker T. Washington was a towering figure in American history, shaping the trajectory of African American education and leadership. His life story, chronicled and up from slavery, remains an inspiration, reflecting perseverance, intelligence, and strategic leadership. While his views and methods were debated, his contributions to education, economic empowerment, and race relations are undeniable. Whether admired or criticized, Washington's legacy endures as a testament to the complexities of progress in a racially divided society.